gangster movies. Outside of horror movies, they're probably the best genre to try and make is gangster movies. People have a very big affiliation sometimes with being the villain or someone who just doesn't take shit or just do what they want. That was kind of one of the themes of the Terminator movie was or to have a character that can just do anything he wants. So gangster movies have that written inside them. I like gangster movies. I think that they're interesting to watch. I think you get a good buzz from them sometimes and stuff, because it's basically fantasy land in loads of ways as well. And it's kind of very manly as well. The gangster movies are very manly because being creatures that are like animals really with a hierarchy. Gangster movies show us that side of ourselves where we can be like that if we want to. If we want to be the man who just, takes no shit, does what he wants basically. And a lot of it is to do with testosterone and a lot of it is to do with trying to impress women so you can get, you know, booty. A lot of it is to do with that, right? But it's like an invisible thing. You don't really talk about it. So, but gangster movies, just say like the top gangster movies people would think of, and I don't know loads of them off the top of my head, would be Goodfellas, obviously would be up there, and kind of like Scarface and films like that. Even though my personal opinion is that Al Pacino is horrible in movies. I can't look at him in movies. I don't like him in movies at all. He just keeps screaming and shouting and comes across as just this little dweeb with he's like, what is he, 5'2" or something? He's like a midget walking around. I don't like him in films at all, So anyway, so I want to talk about a particular gangster movie which is flies under the radar of gangster movies. And I was watching a tiny bit. I haven't seen it in years. I was listening to some people talk about it earlier on YouTube, and it recoiled memories in my head about this movie. And I used to watch it years ago. I haven't seen it in years. And that is Abel Ferrara's King of New York with Christopher Walken. And there's loads of stars in the film. Steve Buscemi is in the movie. Lawrence Fishburne is in the movie. Who else is in it? That ginger-haired guy, what's his name? Come back to me in a second. David Caruso, Wesley Snipes. There's loads of people in this film, and the mood of the movie has got this very kind of like underlying cold, silent atmosphere running through it. And on top of it as well, it's got a good heart on top of it as well, which is surprising as you go through the movie. You realize that the film has a lot of heart in it as well, especially when Christopher Walken is trying to do deals and have the proceeds go to a children's hospital, which is downplayed nearly in the movie. It's downplayed as kind of like, maybe he was doing it for some sort of like money laundering scam or something like that. But I don't think that that is true. I think that as the film progresses, you realize that as he was in prison, I think he had some sort of shift and he didn't really tell anyone about it. But he was still had the mentality and the ruthlessness of a gangster through the film. And the performances in the film are fantastic, especially Christopher Walken in the main part, but all the small parts in it. I can't remember all the actors in it, but there was one guy that he went into and he shot this other gangster. He was great in it. Can't remember his name, sorry. All these small parts that were in the film were all brilliant. And that's something that I think Clint Eastwood does very well in his films as well. Any small part that's in any movie, he hires really good actors for the small parts because he knows that that's what's going to carry the film and give the film a realism that most films don't have. They just concentrate on the stars, so-called stars, right? And people that are in the movie and the headline actors and stuff like that. But all the small people were great in it. Lawrence Fishburne was fantastic in it. I mean, he was so good in it, he nearly outshone Christopher Walken in the movie. He was brilliant. And some of the lines he came out with, it was funny. But I had a ruthlessness running through the whole movie, like I said, and a cold shadow running through the whole movie. but it's definitely my favorite gangster movie ever. And I have to take it up again. I have to watch it again at some point. Like I said, I haven't seen it in years. It's been years since I've seen this movie. But if you want to watch a really good gangster movie, I think a film that didn't get the attention that it should have gotten at the time, because I think it came out in 90 and not or 91, something like that. It wasn't an out and out success of a movie. I think it done better later on, and it was revered more later on as a movie. But if you want to watch a really, really good, in my opinion, great gangster movie, King of New York.